Hey, what's up? This is the Millz Spill. We are here with BEL. She is a singer-songwriter from Australia. Her music is a blend of disco pop. She has her single, Stop Bothering Me, Who Are You, and I'm Not Jealous, out on all platforms now. She has amassed a large following of over 400,000 followers across all platforms. And today we're gonna get into a little bit of her backstory and also see what she's working on. Make sure to like and subscribe. Welcome, BEL.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How are you doing today? How's the weather?
It's sunny in Melbourne, in Australia, as it always is. So it's a good day.
Well, getting right into it, I wanted to ask you some questions. You didn't just start writing music in 2025. You've been writing music before then, but you came out with your first release of music. What led you to that point to finally say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and release some music?
That's such a good question. And it sounds kind of cliche, but I feel like it was coming up to my 30th birthday. I had started doing music in a group when I was 21, and then the dreaded COVID hit. And so I sort of blinked and a few years had passed and I was suddenly working in a regular job and was like, I was doing music. What happened? All this time passed. Now I've got this other career. And so I was turning 29 and I went on this big, I call it my Eat, Pray, Love holiday. And I went to New York and just sort of was like, I'm going to spend 3 months figuring out exactly what I want to do and maybe what the thing that I was always a bit afraid to say that I wanted to do out loud, like what that was. And so I went on holidays for a few months and saw heaps of art and was like, what do I want to do? And it always came back to music. I kept writing and all I could do was think about music and listen to music. And I was like, that's it. So I came back from that holiday, quit my job and went back to study music production. Cause I'd always done the writing part, but never the actual like nitty gritty music part. So I went back to study and that was 2 years ago. How
was that going back to study?
It was tough at first. I think I was really nervous and being around all these, 18-year-olds and coming back to an environment that I hadn't been in for a really long time. It took a while to get the gears going in my brain and like, how do I write an essay? How do I reference properly? All that sort of stuff. But also it was really exciting. I always loved studying. I was like quite an academic student when I was younger. And so putting myself back in an environment that's like, you study hard, you do well. That's like a really clear objective. And that's something I feel I work well in. So I enjoyed that part of it.
I know that you have a background in musical comedy. So tell me about that. Like, have you got into some acting?
My first degree was actually acting, the one I did when I got out of high school. And it was a bit of a secret that I really wanted to do music theatre rather than just straight acting. But I was a bit self-conscious, like, was I a good enough singer? Was I a good enough dancer? And I kind of knew I would get into the acting course. And instead of sort of being brave and waiting and going straight into music, taking time to get into music theatre, I was like, I can get into this course. So I did acting first and I loved it. I loved the theatre. I loved performing, but I could tell, all my uni mates, they would be reading scripts and poring over them and talking about technique. And I was like, I just want to sing and be silly. So I feel like that's sort of what led me into comedy. And that's the trio that I was with when I first graduated uni. Me and two of my friends, we made like a little troupe and we did musical comedy. And I feel like that was my first taste of singing and dancing on stage. And it just it lit my heart on fire. It was so much fun. And so I think that was, where I got that first taste of music performing. But I've always loved performing.
With music performing and music comedy, did you write any like plays before?
100%. Yeah. I think since I was a little kid, even I remember at 10, I would just write scripts at home on the one home computer that wasn't connected to the internet, being like, person one says, I love recess. Person two says, how fun's recess? So when I was young, I was always really into writing in any forms. And at uni, a large part of the degree was writing scripts. And so I've written lots. Were any of them any good? We'll never know. But I've always loved it. And I used to perform like to my parents when I was, they sat through a lot of me. I'd put 2 different jackets on and do a performance for them. So I've kind of always loved it, and always been writing. And I think writing music was when it suddenly felt like it really locked in. It was like, oh, what I'm writing, I feel is clear communication. But with scripts, I was writing, but it felt like there was no real point behind it, if that makes sense.
You think you might ever revisit it?
Yeah, definitely. My original like first dream was to be in a sitcom or write a sitcom. I love sitcoms so much, and I reckon that's kind of what raised me, is like Seinfeld and Parks and Rec and all those sorts of shows. And so I have like a secret idea, and I've written a few episodes of it. Again, I haven't like revisited it since I first wrote it, but they're sitting on my like Google Drive. And one day in the future, I feel like I would dip my toe back in.
You went from music comedy and then you went into television. How did you get into television? What did you do in television?
So I started when I was doing music comedy. Like I said, COVID hit and suddenly there's no theatre. So I was like, oh, what do I do? Like, I need to fill my time. And I was very lucky that I knew someone in TV and they got me a job as like a bin emptier and a coffee getter. You know, I was like the little kicker at the bottom of the hierarchy. And then I just sort of worked my way up. And TV is such a fun industry. So I started doing administration and then I moved across to being a producer, so creative stuff. And I still love it. It's still super enjoyable, but music is the dream and TV production is the fun.
Who are some of your inspirations as far as with music?
I love Nancy Sinatra. I love her music, and obviously I know she didn't necessarily write all of her own music, but I just love her style, her voice, her sound. I love anything from the 50s, all the girl groups of the 50s I really love. And more modern, like Doechii, that is a performer that is just tears the house down with every performance, and everyone I watch of hers, I'm just so inspired. Same with Doja Cat, both of them, so theatrical. The ideas are so cohesive and the energy is just like unparalleled.
When you think of your style, if you were to explain your style, what would you credit a lot of your style to?
I feel like sort of probably 70s disco. I feel lucky. My dad had a really broad music taste, and growing up, I feel like so much of my music taste came from him just showing me. Each day it would be like, here's some soul songs. Do you know this genre? This is what this is. But then here's some bubblegum pop from the 50s. And then here's, I don't know, something grunge from the 90s. And so his really broad taste, I feel like, affected mine. I then just brought in music theatre and added that like comedy flair to it.
I saw you talking about Avril Lavigne. Do you like, is Avril Lavigne one of your inspirations?
Yes. Like 15-year-old me who was like, no one gets me. I love all that like pop punk, pop emo from the early 2000s, like obsessed. Paramore as well is a huge influence. On the album I've got coming up, there's a couple songs that I feel like I like really drew inspiration from them. Yeah,
like Blink 182, Linkin Park.
Obsessed. Yeah, the Linkin Park Jay-Z album changed my life. I reckon that's almost my favorite album of all time.
We're talking a lot. There's a lot of talks. I know American football probably is like nothing over there, but for us, we talk about the Super Bowl and like who's going to perform. And I'm like, we really need to bring a 2000s punk pop like performance. Like all those guys and those girls have a big performance.
That would be so epic. Get you on the creative board. I would be there watching and attentive. I don't watch the footy, but I do watch the Super Bowl performances. That's my experience of American footy.
Now, that's what I was about to ask you. You said footy. I saw there's a sport called footy in Australia that's like different. Yes. It's almost like football, soccer.
Yeah, so I actually used to play it and then I got injured, so I had to stop. But it's Aussie rules footy. And it's kind of a blend of, I don't know, almost like basketball and then football. So you have the like shape of a football, but you bounce it down the field and you kick. I'm obsessed with it. It's a great game. And the formations, it doesn't have strict formations the way that sort of other rugby games do. You can kind of run any direction, any way. And it's kind of mayhem, but I love it.
What's your craziest experience ever playing footy?
Actually, so the first game I ever played, it was so funny. I had all my friends come to watch and it's my first time playing a tackle sport. And I'm like competitive down. I grew up with two older brothers. Wrestling was a pastime of ours. Like I'm so competitive. And in the game, if you catch a ball off a kick, you get a free go. No one can tackle you. You get to like stop the game resets and you get another go. But I didn't know the rules. I literally rocked up to training on the Wednesday and was like, yeah, I'll play the game on Saturday, but actually had never watched a game. I just was like, I want to do tackling. And this girl, she's right by the sidelines and she's taking this clean catch and she gets it. And the ref like blows the whistle, does the stop, and I don't realize there's a stop. And me at full pace with this girl just standing there about to take a kick. I ran like 50 meters and I was like, she is going down. And I just pulled down. And all my friends are cheering and I got a yellow card. And I was like, what did I do? I think about her so much. I'm like, I hope she's okay.
That must have been the worst. Like you did it. You thought you did such a great thing. You're like, oh, hold up.
I was like, and then they gave a 50-meter penalty. She got closer to her goals. I was like, what's going on? And then my coach was like, Belle, get off. Time to explain some rules.
I see that you like camping too.
Yeah. Anything out in nature is so good. Like I'm not a city dweller by inclination, but obviously lots of great things are in the city. So I do live near one. So that any chance I get to sort of go out and be around water or be around trees is like an epic time. It's also just like, I love yapping and getting to sit around a campfire with my friends just chatting is like, favorite activity.
Now, I always picture Australia, I don't know, it's like dangerous to me. I see like these crazy big spiders and animals. I'm like, I don't want to go camping. What's the experience like camping in Australia?
It's so funny because like, I don't want to deny you, there are things that will kill you. But I think you just get used to where they'll be and also just to like avoid them. I feel like there's a mutual respect. It's like, snake, you stay over there, I'll stay over here and we'll be well behaved. But I don't know, the house I grew up in, I feel like I'm every overseas person's nightmare. I grew up in a house that was spider infested. So there were literally spiders everywhere. And I thought that was normal. And then when I got older, mum and dad were like, no, our house was cooked. Like there were spiders everywhere. So I'm a bad example. Not every house has that many spiders in them.
But so, like I watched Crocodile Dundee as a kid, and he was like, Crocodile Dundee. So everybody over there is like, okay, animals, nothing like.
But you have bears. I'm like, they seem scary. I always try to read like, this is what you do if you see a brown bear or a black bear. And I'm like, got to commit it to memory.
I do want to come over there one of these days. Ostriches over there. You guys have ostriches, right?
Emus, but they look like ostriches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But they're really cute. They're really, really cute. If you ever need a tour guide, I run a good ship. It's so beautiful over here and the water and yeah, the danger is kind of located in the center. So if you stay around the beaches and stuff, you'll be fine. Listening
to some of your lyrics, and you talk a lot about like autonomy, self-love, and romantic attraction. Do those themes come from an experience, observation, or is it just like pure imagination?
I love that question. I feel like it's a bit of a mix. A lot of my songs are autobiographical and I do feel like come from my experience, and particularly the songs I've released recently. They're sort of, I think they're a representation of my 20s and sort of growing to feel that kind of self-love, and then how I've changed in romantic relationships as a result of that. Because I do think when I was in my early 20s, I maybe had the language of confidence, but not the feeling of it. And I knew sort of how to say it, but could I like back it up when I was alone? And then over the course of my 20s, I feel like I've really learnt to back myself, and I want other people to feel like that. And so that's kind of why I write some of the songs I do, is wanting to give other people some of maybe the sounds that I wish I'd had when I was younger, like the phrase "stop bothering me." That was something I found really hard to do or say when I was younger. So if I could give someone else that language now, that would be awesome.
What were some of the experiences that you think really boosted your confidence?
I feel really lucky. My parents are such an inspiration to me. I feel like they did the best version of parenting that parents could do. And our family motto is change is as good as a holiday. And I think this like embrace of change really over my life has strengthened my confidence, because even if it's scary, I still do it. And I think that's maybe something that when I look around, not everyone maybe has the confidence to do. And it's that embrace of new or embrace of something that's different that I feel like has served me so well, because every time, like, to grow, you have to do something new and different. And the like familiar is often the old bad pattern. And so that embrace of change and having that motto in my head of like, no, even if it feels scary now, on the other side of change is the holiday, is the good thing. It just taught me to just go for it. And I feel like I've been constantly rewarded every time I put myself out there or operate boldly. I think I always see some kind of success, even if it's just emotional success. So I credit it with that.
Yeah, I definitely, when you talk about the reward of trying something new and seeing the reward of that, I believe that's very reinforcing. Like even in my own personal journey with things that I've tried out, and I'm in my past, I was not a big risk taker. Like taking risks is like but when you take those risks and you try something, you see the reward of it, it definitely boosts the confidence for sure.
100%. And the idea that they're taking a risk, if the people that take risks are usually the ones who are judged, but then people who are successful are the ones that have taken risks. And so it's that period of time where you do something different. It's natural for everyone around to be like, wait, what are you doing? But it's being comfortable with knowing that people might look at you differently, but that's a good thing because that means you're doing something different and you're moving somewhere new, and like learning to be okay with that sticky feeling of being like, oh, people, if I post online or if people are going to see that and that might be out of the normal. But then once I've done it, I become someone who's done something different. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I hear you all the way. With your background in composition, how has do you think that has pushed the evolution of your sound? Have you experimented with it a little bit? What's on the new horizons of you musically?
Yeah, I feel like I'm actually kind of in the beginning of finding that thing of quote unquote my sound. Because my production skills, my music making skills, are new in the scheme of a lifetime. It's really fun with each song I make being like, what do I want this to sound like? And what I want it to feel like? And if that's different from the last song, that's fine. And so I kind of follow the meaning of the words. If it's like you said, if it's pop punky, I'm like, oh, this song feels angry, so I want it to be pop punky. Or this song feels fun, so I want it to be disco-y. I'm like allowing each song to be kind of different. And I think through that, I'll eventually find ones that I really like and land on a more cohesive, like storytelling sound. But for now, I'm letting things be a little different for the sake of experimentation.
You're very open about expressing yourself fully and just being your full self. You said hitting your 30s is kind of like where you started to have that confidence. You said, all right, I'm just going to shoot for it. But is there anything else that has made you kind of be that kind of person where you're just outgoing, is out there like that?
It's so funny. I feel like it's that nature or nurture thing. Because all my life, people have been like, you're so energetic. And like, I feel like as a child, I was very loud, very talkative. But there's a part of that that's just always been in there. Like, I definitely have days where I'm tired and I don't want to get out of bed and all that stuff. But I feel like any person's battery, how I choose to use my 100% battery, I just like hammer 90% all at once. And then I'm like, and then I go away and recluse for 2 days. And then I like come out again. And that like rest time is as important as the time where I'm on and theatrical and up. And it's knowing how to recharge properly. And that's definitely something I've learned. And like, I read constantly. That is my number one hobby. I just like sit in a little nook in my room and read. And then I also love going out and partying and being social and karaoke, but the duality exists. It's not just one or just the other.
What kind of books do you like to read?
So fantasy is a big one. Anything like that involves dragons or magic, anything like that. But also romance. I'm such a diehard romance girly. So if the book has love in it, I'll give it a go.
Has songwriting ever helped you reclaim something personal?
100%. It feels a bit like my diary, and it's through, like, I'll feel something and that's always the impetus to write. Like, I'll feel hurt or sad or happy or pissed off or anything. And then I'll sit and I'll write a song out based on that feeling that I'm feeling at the time. And it feels so cathartic to purge it and to say it honestly. And maybe I can't articulate it. Like, I would find it hard to speak those feelings, but for some reason through song, I can access them in a really unjudgmental way of just like, I just feel like that and that's fine. Whereas when I speak it, maybe the self-doubt brain comes in, and like analyzes the feelings, but through song, I'm like, no, this is just a sad song and I'm just sad today. Or I'm stoked and I'm really happy. And I can access kind of those things in their truest sense.
What's your pre-show ritual? Is it like Zen meditation or more like funky dance party? What's going on?
Great question. Okay, so I think it would surprise people. It's really Zen. But I think that's because my habit when I get nervous is to like, the wheel starts spinning faster and faster and faster. So I like need to counteract that and be like, listening to calm music, deep breathing. Obviously I warm up, like do a big stretch. I always do a 2-kilometer run before every show because it gets like lungs working and kind of ready to dance. But then right before I go on, it's really calm. Whereas I feel like, for someone who is really calm, they'd probably need to pump up. Whereas I'm the other way around. It's like, let's keep a lid on this. Let's keep a lid on this.
What's been your craziest experience, like the craziest thing that you've ever seen while performing?
That is a really good question. Let me think. I feel like when you're performing, because of the kinds of shows that I write. Oh, actually, I had this really great experience at one of the last shows I did. One of my friends is quite quiet and pretty reserved and isn't much of a dancer. And they were sitting on the side of the kind of dance floor. And, everyone's up and dancing and they sat the whole show. It's like an hour show. And they were really like just nodding their head. And I was like, yeah, that's their version of really enjoying themselves. So I wasn't like judging it or anything. But I remember I did like an encore of the last song. And I saw them just turn to some of our friends and go, fuck it. And just got up and started dancing. And it was the most like, I felt like I genuinely felt like I'd won a prize. I was like seeing them kind of just let loose. And I always say, I spell my name BEL with an exclamation mark because I'm like, I want to give people an idea of what's coming. And it felt like they, for that 10 minutes, put an exclamation mark on the end of their name. And they were like, and now I take it off. But it was the most beautiful thing I'd seen. It was so nice.
I see you on social media a lot with like your friends and you're like partying, celebrating them. They're celebrating you. How important do you think it is to have that circle around you as you're stepping into this chapter in your life?
For me, it's like invaluable. My friends are like the most important things to me in the world. I'm so lucky to have such a supportive network, and from kind of different eras of my life. Like my high school friends are still some of my best friends. And then I moved to Melbourne and my Melbourne group is amazing. And so to have the backing of people that see you, I always say the people who are my closest friends, I like look in their eyes and I see them seeing me in a way that I would like to see myself. And it's having people on the days where you're not feeling as confident or not all there, and you look at someone else and you can see them seeing you like you're bigger than you are, is the best feeling in the world. And that just kind of keeps you going.
That's credit to you as a person as well, because I feel like if you have good judgment, you surround yourself with good people. And that's important. Like you said, having that support, especially stepping into this new chapter in your life.
And there's such an element of it that it's luck, because I've been lucky to go to school with people that I really liked and that really liked me. And that, like, I was lucky that they were there at the same time I was there. And same with my university. I'm so grateful that these people that really fuel me and make me laugh so much and that find me funny too, that we were all, in the right place at the right time. And so I'm so appreciative of that element of it as well.
Well, I want to take a moment and play a little game with you. All right.
Yeah.
So this game is called 100% Feels or Nah Chill. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to name some things and you're going to say that's 100% feels, like that's something I'm totally with. I would love to do that. Or you'll say, nah, chill. I wouldn't really be into that.
Love it. I'm in.
All right. So here we go. Watching Twilight for the 10th time.
100% feels. Watching movies and talking over them with my friends is my number one hobby, and particularly for movies like Twilight.
Hearing an Avril Lavigne song at a party.
100% feels. Complicated. I'm going to sing along to that every time. Skater boy, singing along to it every time.
Scoring a goal during footy season.
100% feels. It's not, I have to say nah because I didn't do it very often, but 100% feels that I would like to do it.
At least if you don't knock down somebody who you're not supposed to knock down in the game. How about, all right, a person shooting their shot in your inbox versus in person?
Ooh, great question. To be honest, I'm kind of team inbox because then I have time to process it, sit with it. I can have a scroll through their feed, see who they are. Whereas in person, sometimes, maybe it's someone that I actually would really like, but I get panicky.
Wow, I didn't know that. I always thought, because, I'm married, but in my single time, I'm 38 years old. So I'm used to we used to approach a woman. It's interesting to see how younger generations are nah, rather do the inbox.
Don't get me wrong. I'm always very impressed when someone comes up in person because I know that takes a lot of chutzpah. That's brave.
How about releasing a new track and reading the first reviews?
Ooh, I'm going to say, nah, chill as a directive to myself. I have no self-control, so I'm absolutely reading them. But, you make the music because you think it's good and you think other people will resonate with it, less about the reviews. But I would be reading them anyway.
When you read them, do you think it brings up some anxiety in you?
Oh, I remember the first review I ever got. It was when I was in that trio troupe. And before we read it, we got the review on the morning of the second show. And we're all sitting down discussing if we should open it or not. We're all going, he's not going to understand us. Is he going to get it? And then we opened the review and it was really positive. And we were like, he just really understood. And all of us were crying. And it was such a beautiful experience. But the adrenaline I felt before that review was insane. And I even feel it now, emailing radio stations or emailing reviewers my music. I get nervous sending the email because you're I want you to be honest, but that honesty is terrifying.
A wild night out with friends turns into a song inspiration.
Oh, 100%. Yes. 100% feels. Wild night out with friends, check. Turning things into songs, check. I just feel like karaoke is where all of us really come alive. My whole group is obsessed with karaoke, and some people are singers, some people aren't. It's about the emotional commitment to the song rather than it being about if you're a good singer. And I can't explain the number of jeans I've ripped jumping into the splits while I karaoke.
An American host pronouncing some Australian slang wrong or saying something that they think is Australian. Good day, mate.
Perfect execution. A 10. I'm obsessed. I love Australian slang being pronounced wrong. It's so funny to me. And I hope that if I say American slang wrong, that you laugh as well. That's funny to me. My housemate, is from Manchester, and we both make fun of each other so much because we both say things that the other one finds hilarious. And it just tickles me so much.
Now I saw where, you went to Los Angeles. How was that? Was that your first time over that way?
Yeah, so I've been to New York before, but I hadn't been to the other side. So went to LA with university, and it was a really eye-opening experience. America is just a really different country to Australia in lots of ways culturally. And so engaging with that was incredible, but also just very different. The way the city's laid out and the transport, but it was incredible. I went and studied at the Los Angeles College of Music, and the standard there was just insane. I was this.
Oh, so that's where you went to school, was Los Angeles?
I only went there for 3 weeks. It was a little exchange program.
Okay, it was a program. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a little 3-week kind of swap, and it was. The standard in America is just amazing. It was so inspiring. There's so many people in America compared to Australia. So I think there's just so many, it's such a melting pot. So there's so many fresh ideas and fresh things going on. But also I love the American sensibility in the way that everyone is so driven. I find it so awesome to be around. And so the whole trip was just like incredible. I felt people weren't afraid to just say what they wanted and go for it. And that I just was so bold. And so, yeah, it was incredible.
What do you think was one of the strangest things you saw in America that was strange to you coming from Australia?
First of all, when I order a cider, they always made fun of my pronunciation instead of cider. But I think I found LA, just the sparseness of it really blew my mind. And I know everyone says, get a car and drive and all that sort of stuff. But I think I didn't realize quite how big it was. And like even journeying to Santa Monica Beach or to West Hollywood, going from place to place, I was like, it's so massive.
What was the most fun thing that you enjoyed as you started this journey now with your music and releasing the music that you have now?
Definitely making the music videos, without question. Having the music out has been so satisfying, but making the music videos has been the most fun. The director of all of them is one of my really good friends from uni, Cielo, who's an amazing cameraman, an amazing visionary with film. And it feels a bit like being scrappy uni students again. Like we come up with these ideas together and then we just, use whatever resources we have to make them happen. And because I'm fully self-funded and independent, it's like, what friends can I get to be in it? What venues will let me use their venue for free? Like, can I build the set myself? And kind of being back in that scrappy creative mentality has been endlessly satisfying.
I saw that scene where you were on the bus and you're dancing, and I saw the caption. You were like, well, at least they let us do this.
Yeah, don't tell the permits department that I was on the buses and the trams.
Oh man. So the people that were actually on that bus, they were just like, okay, this is just happening.
Yeah, they kind of clapped at the end of one take and I was like, hello. Yeah, we just sort of took up one half of the tram and then they were all on the other half. And so I hope I gave them a good story that day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they loved it. What's one decision you made quietly that changed everything in your career?
Oh, it's an awesome question. Because I'm so loud so much of the time, so things happen quietly, so infrequently. I think it was that first decision to travel as a means of like finding myself. I knew I was sort of not necessarily happy where I was, but I don't know how much I vocalized that to the people around me. I think sometimes I can be very like, just carry on, push through. And so taking the time to go on holiday, and I went away to be like, you actually need to think about what it is you want to do and what you want to try really hard at. And so while I was over there, all those little decisions about, do I want to quit my job? Do I want to go to uni? All of those I kind of didn't really talk to people much about until I came back and I'd made the decision. I was like, I'm back. I'm going to uni. And so maybe it was a bit of a surprise to some people when I suddenly was like, I'm doing music. I'm doing all this stuff. People were like, what? When have you been at uni? Like it was kind of surprising to people. But I think I needed to do it quietly so that I could only hear my own voice in my head. Like I felt like I'd talked about these kinds of decisions before and other people would give their suggestions, which, were fine suggestions, but then I would worry too much about what other people had suggested rather than just listening to my own diagnostics. And so, yeah, I feel like often those big decisions, it's the times when I've just like blocked all noise out that the decision's actually been correct.
What was one of the biggest misconceptions you had about going into music, if you were to look back at it now and look where you are now?
That it would be quite quick. It has been a long, slow process. My motto has been good things take time, and I have really lived up to that motto. My original plan was like, November 2025, I'll have an album of 18 songs out and a music video for all 18. Like I was so shoot for the moon, and now I have missed and landed among the stars. Everything just takes a lot longer. And so learning to calculate time for mistakes to happen or things to be rethought or ideas to change and allowing time for that flexibility was something I didn't allow at the beginning.
I feel like in today's world, if you are just consistent at something, like just super consistent, it's gonna find success. Like it's just a lot of people don't have the ability.
And I feel like I could not agree more. I feel like in my life, I haven't stuck to something for a really long time before. I'd try things for a year or 6 months or 2 years, and I would think that was a long time and be like, why isn't it happening for me? And this is the first thing where I've been like, you're sticking at it for 6 years. And at the end of 6 years, then you can, go back and be like, okay, now what do I want to do? But I do think it's a game of longevity because you need to give people the chance to find you. And people can't find you in a year. It takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I feel like that 10,000 hours thing is so true. Like whoever came up with the 10,000 hours rule, they were not kidding.
Wait, say that 10,000 hours. So what do you mean?
There's this, I can't remember I can't credit the person, but there's this theory that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master of something. And I feel like it ties into that idea of doing something consistently. It's like you can only get better at something through practice. And if you give something 500 hours, that's actually not a very long time, even though it sounds like it. And so you've got to give something, 5 to 10 years before you can truly ask, have you mastered it?
I think also just the power of consistency is it's compelling to people. Like when people see that, okay, this person's serious. Like when you first jump into something, they go, okay, they're doing that, whatever. But then they say, okay, hold on. This person's hanging on out there. They're passionate about this thing. And it sparks something in the people that are actually watching you do what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. For
someone sitting at home, maybe they're scared to jump into music. What's some advice that you'd give to them?
Being scared isn't the reason to not do something, because you should do things while you're scared. And I think that's something that took me so long to learn, is that no day comes where you're not scared. It's starting something is always inherently intimidating and inherently nerve-wracking. And you do it and you only become not afraid of it through repetition and through practice and through doing it a lot. Like I don't feel as scared performing anymore, but that's only come through 10 years of performing. But also sometimes I still get nervous, but that doesn't mean you don't go out on stage if you feel stage fright. You go out there and you work through the fear. And so I wish I could grab people and be like, being afraid is the reason you should do something, because it means it's meaningful and it means you really care. And fear is just a sign of like, I love this and I'm afraid of doing badly. And it's not a reason to not do something.
How do you balance ambition and protecting your mental health?
Something I'm still figuring out. I feel like that'll be a lifetime journey. But it's just making sure I have proper downtime, which I think with ambition comes the idea of just pedaling the bike every day, but then your legs get really sore and you burn out. And it's knowing that rest is as important to something being completed as the doing of it is. And you can only do something properly when you're rested and your brain works. Because I feel like sometimes I can burn the candle at both ends a bit and be social and try to work really hard, and that I forget that you need sleep. People need sleep, people need food, people need to sit in a park and read or watch a movie and all that sort of stuff. So I've definitely been trying to just sit on the couch more. That's been my 2026 New Year's resolution, is like concerted effort at rest.
What does success actually look like for you? Is it like streams? Is it just creative freedom? What does it look like for you?
Such a good question, because I feel like it has shifted a bit. At the beginning, or for at least for this first project, it's just completing it. And to me, having completed it is climbing the mountain, and I will be like, that's the thing that I didn't think would happen. And I think then looking beyond that, it will probably turn to other metrics of success. And I'm trying really hard to not make it streams or not make it listens, because that's a thing that grows over time, not a fixed number. I read this really great book about good goal setting, and it was like, you can't set a goal that is someone else's job. And streaming, I don't stream it. Someone else chooses to stream it. So I shouldn't make that my marker of success, because that's based on someone else's actions. My markers of success should be, do I complete it? Am I happy with it? All that sort of stuff. It's human to be like, how many people are listening? And definitely with the first song I released, I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, statistics, check the statistics. But I'm making it like an active practice to just be like, finishing it is the goal, finishing it to a standard you're happy with, focusing on those sorts of things of like completion rather than streams and outward success.
Well, I like that idea. You can't base your idea of success on somebody else's metrics, something that that you have nothing to do with that. You have to find something that's within your control. I like that.
And because like what you were saying with consistency, I feel like it ties into that is hopefully through consistency, streams will grow. But what I can control is, do I release a second album and a third album? That's the things I can do. And, do I advertise on social media? Am I posting content and making content that I feel like is meaningful? That is stuff that I can control that will lead to streams. I'm trying to always focus on what I can do to make stuff be seen.
If you could collaborate with any person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Maybe Queen, the band, aka Freddie Mercury, or Prince. Someone whose music is like theatrical and sexy and fun. That would be unreal. And then, yeah, just anyone like that where their songs are just like those iconic, big sing-along songs. It would be heaven. What about you? Who would you choose?
If I could, oh man, who would I choose? All right, if I could, all right, collaborating with someone. Now, I can't sing though, so my singing isn't gonna be good. I'll just be up there doing this. But Michael Jackson's definitely number one person I'm gonna be like, if I could like be with.
Get some dance tips as well.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some dance tips. I think Michael Jackson has to be number one person for me, for sure. He has a movie coming out.
Oh, he does?
Well, it's not Michael, of course. He's deceased.
Yes,
but it's a movie about him. I'm going to play a little game with you again. All right, I'm going to say this or that. You have to tell me which one would you prefer. All right? Group camping trip or solo luxury hotel?
Ooh, I have to go group camping trip. I'm sorry to the hotel.
So you just love getting out there in the wild of Australia.
And the group part. I feel like me being alone in the hotel, I'd be like, where's all my friends at?
Early 2000s eyeliner phase, yes or no?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, gotta do it. My next video clip that's coming out, hot off the press, is inspired by those like pop punky videos of the early 2000s. So the eyeliner is popping off.
Write a heartbreak anthem or a revenge dance bop?
I think I'm revenge dance bop. I got some coming. I got a song called Pretty Smile of Mine coming soon. That's revenge dance bop.
If your life was a reality show, what would it be called?
In the words of Jennifer Lopez, let's get loud. I wish I'd written that song, I feel like it really would have suited me.
I think you're writing some good songs where you are now. Because the one song, you thought somebody was chasing you and then it was really you.
Oh, that's Who Are You?
Who are you? Yes, in the Cowboy Bar. Who are you? I saw that and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Because I'm thinking, you're really talking about yourself, right? Or are you talking about you're talking about yourself. That's what the video made me think. Explain that song to me, because maybe I'm wrong.
No. It actually kind of came from the original idea, because obviously we're in a cowboy bar, there's a mechanical bull, which actually that idea came from when I was in LA. Me and my friends walked past this bar and there was a mechanical bull in there. And we went in and wrote it and I was like, I wish this existed in Melbourne. It would be perfect for my next video clip. And my friend was like, there is one of these bars in Melbourne, like that looks similar. And so I was like, oh my God. So thank you, LA, for the inspiration for that. But originally when we came up with the idea for the music video, it was someone else that I was like talking to, but it never really felt like it gelled. And then I was like, what if both of them are me? And that's sort of where the idea came from.
Okay, I thought it was like a song, because I'm thinking this, I'm trying to analyze the lyrics, because I'm trying to think of my questions to ask you too. So I'm like, okay, she's talking about somebody that she's like, that she has an attraction to. Then I'm like, okay, no, it's her. She's talking to herself. So I'm like, she's in love with herself. That's why
I love that though. And that's why music's so good. It's like, you write it, but then you give it over to someone else to get meaning from. And I love that. I feel like there's so many songs where I'm like, this is exactly what it's about. And then I read the artist talk about it and I'm like, I like my meaning.
What's the next thing you're working on right now?
Well, I'm so excited to announce my debut album called Hopeless is coming out, and it actually comes from this story of this girl. I was at a party when I was 20. I was dancing on the dance floor and I, moved a bit enthusiastically and I headbutted her. And her nose was like bright red and she was a model and she ran to the bathroom and was like, my face is my work. And I was like, don't worry. Last weekend, my friend headbutted me and look, I looked like you, but like now look, mine's fine. And she looked at me and she was like, you are hopeless.
Oh no.
And it sort of came from then. I remember going to write the song Hopeless and being like, what are all the reasons I think I'm hopeless? But are they also the things I love about myself? Like, I'm hopeless because I always lose my keys and I get locked out all the time and I always break my glasses and, I spill stuff on myself all the time. But I think those things on the flip side are the reason I'm fun because I'm like loud and messy and blah. And so would I rather be tidier or neater, but I would lose something else on the good side of my personality. So the song and thus the album is sort of about reclaiming the things that you hate about yourself and being like, actually, they're the price you pay for the things you love about yourself. And that's like the balance.
That's some funny stories you got. The tackling somebody in footy, then you hit a model in the face by accident. But then you can write a song about it and it just fixes everything. And you make an album.
Exactly. It solves all the problems.
So how can people find you on social media? Where can they follow you? Where can they get your music?
On Instagram, BEL_exclamation_mark. And then on Spotify, Apple Music, basically anywhere you can stream, my music is there with BEL_mark is my name, but the actual like punctuation one, not the word spelt out. So BEL_mark, that's my name. That's where you can find me. And then obviously on YouTube, I make music videos. My day job is as a TV producer. So I like to put those skills to work in my music career. And so, yeah, definitely take a peek at the YouTube videos, same BEL_mark. Everywhere you can find me.
Make sure to like and subscribe.